just turn it on to auto, and you're going to run it on auto 99% of the time. There's a few situations where you're going to run it on gas manually, and I'll tell you about that here in just a few seconds. But in the auto mode, if you have 110 power to the coach, it will go to 110 and start cooling. If you lose 110 or you don't have 110 in the auto mode, it'll automatically go to gas and light itself. So let's see, where's your breaker panel? It's over there. If you reach down there and pop the door open, just push on the door and it'll pop open. And push in the middle. There you go. So look to see if there's a breaker that says reefer, refrigerator. Let's see. Probably, let's see. What's the very bottom one say? Not on the door, but up on the next to the breakers.
Steering wheel?
I know to the left. See where it says main AC?
Okay. Yeah.
What does the bottom one say there?
Refrigerator.
Oh, it is, okay. So go ahead and flip that breaker off, the very bottom one, just flip it over to the left. Kind of hard to see when it's sideways, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, go ahead and flip that breaker off real quick and we'll see.
This one?
Yeah. Nope, that must not be it. Go ahead and turn that one back on. And turn off the one just above it, the second one from the bottom. There it goes. Okay. So what you did is you just shut off all the power to the receptacles, but also to the fridge. And if you'll notice, the little yellow lights come on here, indicating that it's running off gas. Now, if the yellow light's on, one, it tells you you're running on gas, and two, it tells you everything's working fine. If that's flashing, that means it tried to light and failed. Okay? So that's this way of letting you know that it's tried to light, didn't light, and you need to do something about it. What you do is you turn it off, give it about 5 seconds to reset the circuit board, turn it back on, and it'll go back through the cycle. Now, Norcold fridges have a relatively short ignition cycle. It only takes about 20 seconds to go through the cycle, and then it'll start flashing at you if it hasn't lit. So what you need to do is turn it off and turn it back on again until that yellow light stays solid. Okay? And it might take 5 or 6 or 7 cycles if the trailer's or the coach has been sitting for a while. Okay? Now, when would you use it on gas manually? I mean, auto sounds like a great deal. I mean, it does everything for you, right? Okay, let's say you're running off your generator and you've got a bunch of stuff plugged in and you're running the microwave and you keep tripping the breaker on the generator. If you turn it over to gas, it takes the electric out of it. That's removing about 250 watts from the generator, so you're not going to keep tripping breakers. Also, what happens if the heating element goes out on this thing? It'll try to send power to the heating element, but the heating element is not going to make the fridge cold because it's not working. So if you're not getting cooling off of 110, it's probably that heating element. You can switch it over to gas manually and run it until you can get the electric fixed. The consumption on propane is minimal. It's very, very small amount of gas that it uses, so don't worry about gas consumption on propane on the fridge. On your furnace, your water heater, and your stove, that uses a lot of gas, but this thing uses just a tiny little bit of gas. Okay? Thermostat over here, you can adjust that for the outside conditions. On a day like today, I would probably be around 1 or 2. When you start getting into the 80s, you might be up in the 3 range, maybe 4. Starts getting into the 90s, you might need to get up to 5. The best thing to do, though, is to put a thermometer in the bottom compartment and monitor that and adjust the thermostat as needed. You want to keep that bottom compartment around 38 to 39 degrees, 40 in that range. Start getting up in the 42s, 30s, 4s, you're getting a little too warm. Your perishables could start going bad on you. So always want to keep it just slightly above freezing, but below 40 or below. Okay.
That don't affect the freezer?
Oh yeah, it's proportional. I mean, obviously with the freezer, if everything's hot, you know, it's rock solid, you know it's below freezing. Yeah. But on the fridge, it's kind of hard to tell. And your fridge is more vital because you have milk and cheese and chicken and whatever in there. You don't want that going bad on you.
So what about when you're traveling? Do you have the generator going and have?
Yes, that's a really good question. That's a great thing about motorhomes is you can run the generator and run this off 110. Because the one thing you don't want to do is try to run it off propane. When you're traveling, you want to make sure the gas is off. Okay. Now, if it's cold, I mean, if it's cold weather you're traveling in, you're going to need to heat the coach with your dash heat. If you turn that gas on while you're traveling on the road, if you have an accident or somebody hits you from the side or whatever and hits a propane line and breaks it, you're going to have gas leaking into an accident scenario, and that's not a good thing. So always make sure your gas is off when you're traveling. Okay? You just turn your generator on, flip it over to auto, and the great thing about it is if it's hot weather, with the generator running, you can run the fridge off 110 and you can run your roof air conditioner. So if you're sitting up in the front, the dash AC might be sufficient to keep you cool. But if somebody's sitting back here, they might be a little too warm, you can run that roof AC. Okay. The generator is 4,000 watts. It takes about 2,400 watts to run the AC. So you've got lots of extra power available even with the AC running. Okay.